Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. Hey Burke, welcome to you too.
Hello, Zeynep.
We want to try new things, like starting to exercise, for example. But first, let me watch one more episode, have one more coffee. We always end up procrastinating. And before we know it, time just flows by like water. So, why do we keep procrastinating and why do we get stuck in this comfort zone? I want to talk about this.
Yes,
So, what really is the comfort zone?
you mentioned the comfort zone. Let me first explain what the comfort zone is. The comfort zone, first of all, represents everything we know, are familiar with, and where we feel safe. We know that place and we feel secure there. That's what feels comfortable to us. But when we step outside the comfort zone, we're faced with a zone of fear. In the fear zone, people usually return to the comfort zone very quickly. If we're not too timid, if we're a bit brave and open to learning new things, the fear zones can even seem fun to such people. Or rather, they find it exciting. And once we get past the fear zone, we move into the learning zone. That is, we start to learn about environments or situations we don't know or aren't used to. We've moved past the anxious state. Everyone goes through these stages. What matters is how we manage it. Because, well, the brain first gets anxious about things it doesn't know. How we manage this is what makes us independent.
Hmm.
Comfort zone, fear zone, learning zone, and the growth zone. This is where psychological resilience, what we call mental toughness, comes into play a bit. The growth zone. The area we move into after the learning zone is the growth zone. By then, we've gotten used to it, we've learned it. Our comfort zone has become much wider than before. After that, we move into the growth zone. By that point, we adapt to how we can take things even further from where we've come so far. By the way, most people are also afraid to end a relationship because they don't want to leave their comfort zone.
Like, I might not be able to find someone new. Now I can't trust someone again. I can't go down the path to marriage again. I already have a relationship as it is.
Yes, it's everywhere in our lives, isn't it? This comfort zone,
Yes, you notice it. I mean,
yes. So, what should be done here? People with an anxious disposition are often quite afraid to venture outside of their familiar comfort zone, preferring to remain in a secure and well known environment.
so what kind of negative consequences can staying in the comfort zone for a long time have for a person?
Of course, it creates an obstacle to their development. I also give an example. There are things we need to do and we cannot do them. We constantly postpone, delay, or find excuses. By the way, our brain is such an organ that when we avoid doing something
Uh,
or when we postpone it, he immediately gives us a logical reason. Starting to do sports, I mean, I go to tennis once a week. I take tennis lessons. My heart rate goes up to around 170, and it's really tough. I mean, I can't get enough oxygen. When I look at the data from my smartwatch, I think for about 19 minutes during my last tennis lesson, my muscles didn't get enough oxygen out of an hour. The next day, you really feel the pain from it. It has its price. It's challenging to do such things now.
uh,
Naturally, we generally tend to always postpone such important things.
for example, I was postponing doing sports.
Yes,
The reason is I'm going to go out the next day anyway. My muscles shouldn't hurt. How am I going to get through the day with muscle pain?
yes, that's exactly what I mean. The mind immediately gives us a logical reason. But if you look at it logically, what does it have to do with anything, right? I mean, if your muscles hurt, does that mean you can't go out or are you uncomfortable when you're outside? Why do we believe our brain so quickly?
Okay, I want to ask this. Why is it so hard to get out of your comfort zone?
We will go to a challenging process, that is, to the place of fear,
Uh,
to put it metaphorically. And since our brain gives us logical reasons to give up, it becomes difficult to maintain our self discipline. It also has to do with things that have been learned. Of course, like many things, the root of this can also go back to childhood. For example, individuals who haven't developed problem solving skills don't really want to leave their comfort zones. I mean,
Hmm.
if someone hasn't had to solve many crises, if others have always solved their problems for them in life, they're about to start exercising. For example, they're going to go to the gym. We gave this example. Let's go through this. Immediately, his brain tells him, where you're going now, everyone is a stranger. Will you be able to do it? What will the teacher really think of you? Here, it went steadily for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. He thinks he paid a much higher price than he actually did. When the results are compared, the expectations are much higher. In terms of, I'm paying this much price. I don't know, I want my muscles to grow. I want my abs to grow. I want to feel stronger. When he sees that his expectations are not met, he's likely to return to his comfort zone again. In other words, being unable to leave our comfort zone hinders our development. So, why do we feel the need to step out of our comfort zone anyway? Actually, this is quite absurd. Everyone wants to stay in their comfort zone, but sometimes the dynamics of life force us out of it. You are very afraid of the dark. If we locked you in a dark room and exposed you to it, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Darkness alone can't do anything to a person. After being exposed to it for a while, you get used to it anyway. The brain's ability to deceive you is also very strong. Adaptability is also very strong. You should manage your mind according to whichever talent you want it to use.
If we come to the last stage, the area of development,
Uh,
we can easily return to our comfort zone again.
yes. Sometimes I observe that people have such a hard time stepping out of their comfort zones that those comfort zones actually start to suffocate them. The story of lobsters shedding their shells is a great example here. Let me mention that as well, since it just came to mind. Lobsters are sea creatures, and inside they have a soft tissue. That shell is the protective part. Now, when the soft tissue inside grows, lobsters start to outgrow their shells. At that point, lobsters have two options. Either it will abandon its shell and remain vulnerable for a while until it forms a new, larger shell, and it will suffer a lot. The second option is to stay cramped in its shell, getting more and more squeezed. In other words, it will choose to stay in its comfort zone and stop growing. Which one do you choose? Alright, do you have any other questions?
Number. That's all my questions. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Don't forget to like,
Yes,
subscribe, and leave a comment.
and to interact with us to stay engaged and connected.
We don't forget. Then see you in our next video.
See you.